Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I am Loving and Life Freely here, and we are full-time resellers on multiple platforms. If you're returning, thank you so much for joining us yet again for another great video. If you are brand new here, I would love to extend a welcome to you. Thank you so much for stopping on our video for the first time. We do a lot of different things reselling. We're doing a sold video today. We do Goodwill outlet hauls, bin hauls, we do thrift stores and all that sort of thing. So if that is of interest to you and a blessing to you in your business, do feel free to give us a follow, like the video if you like it at the end and everything, you know, all the good stuff. Let's dive in. There's actually a lot of sales from January. I'm finally getting around to doing the January sale videos. We'll see if I can get through it without my dog needing my attention. Anywho, there's actually quite a few solds from January. We had a good month in January. So, and instead of just picking out a few of the items that sold, I am going to go ahead and show you everything that sold. And we're going to be doing it on my program here. It's actually going to tell you how many days it took to sell, even if it was relisted. We're going to show you the COG and everything, all the goods, ins and outs of everything. I'm going to show you what my COG was for everything total and what it turned into as far as things being sold. Let's dive in, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, a snack. This is going to take a few minutes because we're going to do all of them for January. Let's dive in and see what kind of profit we made in January. Hey guys, so I'm going to do my very best to get through this video without any interruptions from the household. It's always very busy here between a dog, two kittens, my mom, Isaac, and all that goes with and everything. So hopefully we will be good. I'm going to definitely turn up the volume so y'all are good with volume and make sure that everybody can hear everything just fine, because there's a difference between the computer and doing microphone on my phone. So we're going to do that, just make sure it's all good. All right, we're going to go through all of January. So I'm going to start with January here. You guys may have noticed, if you've been following me for a while and have seen my sold videos before, this is not Vendu. I did switch from Vendu a couple months ago, probably 2 or 3 months ago, and I had my reasons for it. Vendu's still a great program, but some of the things that Nifty have been actually quite a bit of a blessing for my business lately, and this does everything for me. I'm not doing a promo here for you guys. I'm not doing anything like that. I'm just letting you know I switched. There were advantages to me being on Nifty, so I did make a switch. My husband and I discussed it. He said, let's go for it. Let's see how it does. And so far, we're pretty happy with it. So for the time being, we are with Nifty right now. Now, on Nifty, one of the things that I do like is that it actually tells you, even if it was relisted, it tells you whether it was brand new listed or relisted, how many days it took it to sell after being listed or relisted. It says that right here, which is so cool. So I'm actually going to let you see, like if something was relisted on eBay, it will tell you if it was listed or relisted on Poshmark. I don't know if it actually Poshmark notes that they relist something. I think it does, but I don't know if it shows that here. On eBay it does. But we're going to go in. I actually have my dog in my lap, so hopefully I can get through this without any issues. Okay, so without further ado, I apologize. I'm not going to take any more of your time. Let's dive into this. Now, you can see that my COG is over here, but what I'm going to do really quick is I'm going to go in and show you my profit and losses for January, from the 1st through to the 31st. Let me show you here. And you're going to be able to see our COG, our cost of goods total for the month of what was sold in January was $433, and we turned that into $1,127. Guys, I made a net profit. This includes fees and everything. So it's pretty incredible. My profit for the month of January was $1,127. Now, I think I did a sold video a month or two ago, and I was so excited about how I made $800 profit. We were very excited because we're seeing an increase in our profits each month. Now, normally January is not a good month for me. But I've also shared with you in my video for the first of the year that we had a goal of getting back up to our $1,500 to $2,000 a month in profit, and we are definitely edging towards those goals, and very excited to see what this year has to show. So this was my net profit. We turned this into this for the month of January. Okay, let's go ahead and dive into orders, and it's going to kick me back up to where I am now. So let me scroll down. Pardon the the scrolling, but I'm going to get back down to where we need to be. So, see, now that I clicked off of that, it's been goofy on me, and I'm still learning this system here. So let me see what I have here. Okay, let's do it this way. This is much easier. All right, so we're gonna go down to where January starts, and I'm gonna start showing you some solds. Okay, here's the first one. These are on eBay, and it doesn't do like all eBay and all Poshmark. It just goes back and forth. This was a J. Crew tailored woven men's shirt. And this sold for $19.95. I paid $3 for this shirt. Very, very cute. So that sold. And then, does it? Yeah, okay, good. The next item, now that only took 20 days to sell. We have started a new inventory system and everything with our items, which is great. I think I shared with you guys that I had been going through old inventory. Some of my old inventory has sold because I did brand new listings, brand new photos. So I have some old stuff on here as well as new stuff that is sold. So that is very exciting. Okay, the next item that sold was this Eddie Bauer waffle knit. It was a quarter zip. This sold for $18. When it comes to Eddie Bauer pieces like this, if I sell it for at least like $15 to $20, I'm good with that. So I was actually really okay with that. And again, it's moving older pieces out, which is great. All right, the next item that sold was also on eBay. Now this was a piece that I bought for myself, but I ended up not keeping because I just didn't like the way it looked on me. I don't do well with white, and this was a really beautiful white skirt that was pleated. And it had floral detail on it, a very Disney floral detail by Metro Wear. I think I purchased this on a platform a couple years ago, and again, I haven't worn it. This was, I believe, brand new with tags still. Or maybe it wasn't. I don't remember. I don't think it was. But anyway, this sold on eBay for $19.95. So I was very, very happy with that. And got that moving out. That was a piece from my own closet. All right, Patagonia. These were shorts, men's Patagonia shorts. These sold for $25. I have had these for a while. And I don't remember if I relisted the item or did all new photos. Yeah, we did all new photos on this one. And it sold 9 days after it was relisted. So, again, I went through all my old inventory, and this sold 9 days after it was relisted. Brand new photos, brand new listing. Okay, here's a Poshmark order. This I picked up at a garage sale just before I had to go out to Montana when my dad passed away. And I picked these up for $5. And they sold for $23 on Poshmark. So that was a great sale. Those took 119 days to sell. I think I listed those around August, September. Took 119 days to sell, and they sold for $23. So really, really good on that. Moving on to the next item. I hope you guys are okay with how I'm doing solds this time. It's a little bit different. But I thought I'd give it a try and see how it does. This was from a old Free People box from Helpsy Source. It was one of the last things I purchased from Helpsy Source as far as book boxes. And I paid $7, almost $8 for each piece. And I'm still selling stuff. It took a while to sell. This sold for just $15. But that was like over 2 years ago that I purchased those boxes, guys. You all know that I do not buy from Helpsy Source anymore. And I bought 2 boxes of Free People because I thought, everybody's bragging about how Free People does so well with these boxes. And half of one of my boxes, more than half of one of my boxes, I could not even list because there were so many flaws. And that was my last straw with Helpsy Source, and I have not purchased from them again. So again, I'm still trying to sell off some of those pieces, and this was one of those pieces. Okay, next we have, let me see where I am. Let me see, Patagonia. Oh, did I miss something? Metro Wear Patagonia. Overalls. Oh, okay, no, I did miss something. Okay, I was reading it wrong. Sorry, guys. Like I said, this is my first time doing it this way, so please forgive me. Okay, these are Chaps Ralph Lauren. These are corduroy pleated pants. I think I got these in a men's box from Helpsy Source, and it took this long to sell. Now I have sold some other corduroys that I picked up at the bins, but that's not these. These I paid $3 for. They did sell for 20. So again, I was very glad to get those out the door. And those took 2 days to sell after they were relisted. So very, very excited about that. Okay, next is a men's Polo Ralph Lauren shawl collar sweater. I love these shawl collar sweaters, guys. These do well. Polo Ralph Lauren is having a really good time right now with reselling. It's doing very well for a lot of people. And so this was another old piece that I had that I picked up for around $3 from a box. And this one also got new photos and redone. So I was very, very glad to see. And this one sold for $29. Guys, if you have old inventory, even if it's been like a year, year and a half, and it has not sold, I highly recommend you go through all those items, pull them, delist them, and do brand new photos, brand new listings, and get them on fresh eyes. This one took 11 days after it was reposted with a brand new posting, 11 days to sell. So very, very excited about that. All right. Another men's piece. This was through Poshmark, and these were some men's chaps, brand new with tags, flat front. Sold these for $12. So I was very excited to get those moved. Again, older inventory. All right, next item, and those took 14 days to sell, guys. Again, item that was relisted. Okay, this was a men's belt. Now, this was like a utility belt for the police force. I picked this up at a garage sale probably like 2.5, 3 years ago. It's been a long time. This has been listed for so long. I paid, I don't know, maybe like $2 or $3 for it at a garage sale, and it finally sold for $30. I was so excited that that finally sold. I don't know why it took so long. I honestly thought because it was utility, obviously it's for the police lined, and it was just a really good heavy duty belt, but it took time to sell. If you have room for things like this and you don't care how long it takes to sell, I highly recommend you pick up police belts, utility belts, and things like that, because it's worth the wait for $30, $2 or $3 into $30. I mean, what a great profit, right? I was just surprised it took so long to sell. All right, next. Oh, and the brand on that, guys, was Safariland. It did have a specific brand. It was Safariland right here. So if you are looking for something, Safariland is a good brand. And it took 61 days to sell after it was relisted. Okay, next item is a Nike Dry Fit. Now this was, I think I picked this up at the thrift store recently. I honestly don't remember. I've picked up a few things at the thrift store, but I've also picked up a few things at the bins. I think this was a recent purchase, and I sold it for $20. I don't have a lot of old Nike stuff in my closets anymore. But I've been picking Nike up lately because it's already been doing well for me. This took 28 days to sell. It wasn't extra large. I am particular with Nike though, guys. I sold a pair of Nike sweatpants that I picked up at the bins the first time I went, and those sold within a week of me getting them. They were a size large. So I do focus on like large, extra large. These took just 28 days to sell, and it was a hooded jacket. I think I picked this up at the regular thrift store because it was $5. Okay, moving on. Women's Talbots. I am being a bit more particular about women's Talbots that I get. As y'all know, I'm doing a lot of style-based. I'm also doing a lot of fabric-based. This one here was a regular, probably cotton. It was a rayon blend, and it was a size large. I thought this floral was just absolutely beautiful. I thought that was so pretty, and it was the newer Talbot's tag. It was a size large, so I took a chance on it. I'm pretty sure I picked this up at the regular store, and it sold for $28. Very, very, very happy with that. And once it was listed, it took 9 days to sell. I think this one may have been relisted. I'm not sure. You know, I don't think so. I think this one, honestly, I can't remember, guys. I've had so many pieces come to my brain lately. I can't remember. Either way, it sold, right? All right. This was a piece I took the chance on one of my first binge trips. I've been watching, as y'all know, I do a lot of research watching YouTube videos on reselling, And I watched different people that I really enjoy that are selling the kind of pieces that I'm selling. And this was one of the brands that they recommended that can do well. It doesn't sell for a lot, but it can do well. I took a chance on it. It's called Peace Love World, and it was a size large. I knew I wouldn't make much from this because it was just kind of like a basic knit shirt. But for $1.19 into $13, I'll do that all day long, and it did not take long to sell. This took 111 days to sell, so just over 3 months. Okay, next. Okay, guys, overalls. I'm telling you, I picked up 3 pairs of overalls at the thrift store, my second or third time being there, and 2 have already sold. I had these listed higher. These were listed originally around $65, but because they did have some wear on them, I did reduce the price down to $45. They have holes. One pair even had like the crotch was redone. Somebody had taken something and stitched over it. That still sold. Now I did sell a pair. This one was actually in pretty good condition. I did sell a pair of overalls Key Imperial that were on really, really good condition. That was the first pair. They sold really, really good condition. These and another pair that I have were a bit more worn, but they still sold for $45. I think another pair sold for $35. Key Imperial does sell, so if you run into overalls that are Key Imperial, even if they have wear, you can definitely pick them up at the bins for a couple bucks, $2 or $3, and still turn around and flip them to 35 plus depending on what kind of condition they're in. So I highly recommend overalls. I still have a pair of overalls upstairs. They're heavier and they're lined. Those have not sold yet, but they've definitely got a lot of interest. So I'm curious to see how much longer those will take to sell. But these took about 56 days to sell from picking them up at the bins. All right, Hard Rock Cafe sweatshirt. This was a sweatshirt I have had for at least 2 years. I'm honestly surprised this took so long to sell. I don't remember where I picked this up, but I remember picking it up. It was either like a garage sale or a thrift store. Picked it up for a few bucks, and it finally sold. So let's take a look and see how much it sold for. $17.46, and I was so glad to sell it for that. Like I said, I've had this for at least 2 years. So I was very, very glad to get that sold. This was relisted because it shows 5 days. I've had it for over 2 years, so obviously it was relisted. And I was very, very happy to move that. This was, I think, another piece that I actually went through my old inventory and redid photos on it. Let me see. Let me look at the photo and see what it looks like. Yeah, this photo was redone. This is my new setup, so these were redone. And so after it being redone, it sold 5 days later. All right, Willie Smith Black Rabbit Poncho. Let's see what we have here. Guys, I actually made a sale on Mercari. This was a bins find. I was so happy that this sold because I took a chance on this. The brand was Willie Smith. It was a black shell rabbit fur poncho shawl, one size. And I just thought it was super cute. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to take a chance on this for $1.19. And I sold it on Mercari and got great review on it. $1.19 into $26.95. So very, very happy with that. All right, let's go back to the next item. Next item is Ariat. Okay, guys, I hesitated picking these. Oh, no, that was the white shirts. Ariat men's jeans, guys. I always pick up Ariat. And often I find Ariat. I was actually at the bins last time. I ran into one pair of Ariat jeans that were in good condition. I found 3 that were in bad condition. I was so bummed, but at least I grabbed the good ones, right? I think you see that in my most recent bins haul. Anywho, these are Ariat men's jeans that I picked up, and I paid $6 for these. These came in that box that I bought from that gentleman recently, where Ariat men's jeans size 34, 32, and these sold for $40. So very, very happy with that. Yeah. So and once they were listed, they sold in 10 days. Very, very good. All right, you guys, I told you I sold 2 of those Key Imperial overalls. This was the other pair that I sold. Again, paid around $1.19 on average for that thrift haul. These weighed more than that, but my cost of goods for that day was $1.19. So very, very, very good sale. These sold for 25 bucks. Okay? So like I said, if you find Key Imperial or even just overalls in general, run comps on them for sure. All right, let's scroll this up to the top and go through the rest of them. Okay, Banana Republic. We're about halfway through the month as far as sold. It's Banana Republic. This was... Okay, this was purchased at the bins. Actually, no, I think this was a repost. This was a men's repost shirt. One of the items that I pulled from my inventory and I redid it. I paid $3 for this. I can tell by the cog. I have number systems on my items. I paid $3 for this one. So this one was the item that we redid it. Anyway, it sold for $15 and it sold 7 days after it was reposted. So very exciting. Very, very exciting. Guys, get your old inventory redone. Put it up and get it redone. Oops. Oh, yes, Depop. Okay. Let me show you this particular piece was men's Noriki. Oh, the boots, right? The boots, these here. Okay, so you can't really see a lot of detail on these. Here we go. These were North Key men's waterproof insulated boots. The picture, you can't see the picture. Oh, there you go. There you go. I picked these up for free at a garage sale. Remember, before I went to Montana for my dad, one of the last garage sales we went to, the gals were just giving stuff away, literally. And this was one of the things they were giving away was these boots. This was pure profit. These were free for me. And I had them 30% off, and a gentleman purchased them for $20.96. So this was on Depop. So yeah, if you're looking for good boots, North the Key, men's waterproof boots. So yay, a good sale there. All right, and then Ariat. One of those Ariat shirts that I picked up at the thrift store sold. Let me go into Completed, and I will show you that one. This was a good sale. I found 2 of these at St. Vincent's one day, and they were both in really good condition. They have both sold already. This was the first one to sell. This one sold for $27.96. I paid, I think, around $4.75 for each of these shirts at St. Vincent's at my regular thrift store. Extra large, both sizes were extra large. So this was a very good sale. All right, moving on to the next one is CC. Okay, I have had this top for forever. I mean forever. Way back, guys, when I was still doing Whatnot shows. When I first started out on Whatnot, I was following a gentleman. You probably all know him. He's no longer on eBay. He sells on Whatnot only. I'm not going to say his name because it's not necessary to go into all that. He's a good seller, don't get me wrong. But he was selling bulk boxes for other resellers on his platform on Whatnot, and I purchased a bunch of his boxes, like 4 of them. And this was in it. My average cost of goods was, maybe that wasn't that, because my cost of goods for that one was different than what's showing here. My cost of goods here is showing $5, so honestly I'm not sure where I got this. Maybe it was in a women's box. Either way, do not ever pick up this brand, guys. CC, do not ever pick up this brand. I'm warning you. I see this in the thrift stores, and I had this shirt for probably 2.5, 3 years. It took that long to sell. Now, this was a brand new listing because I went through all my old inventory, like I keep saying repeatedly as a record, broken record. This listing was just redone, and it sold after it was redone. But I've had this shirt for so long. Do not buy CC, that brand. This one sold after being redone 41 days after being redone. I was so happy to see that thing sell. All right, Halara. I did pick up a box of Halara activewear from Helpsy Source way back in the day, and I still have a few of them. That's how long it's taking to sell them. These were brand new with tags, and back when I bought this box, Halara was kind of hitting a popularity streak, but it did not last long, and everybody else in their blue moon bought the boxes too. So I paid around $4 for each of these, and again, I still have a few left. I was very happy to see that one go. My profit on this one was $14. It took 13 days to sell after being after the listing was redone. All right, let's keep going. Solomon. This was a good brand. I paid $3 for this. It sold for $20. I don't know much about this brand. Um, this one did sit for a little while, and again, I redid the listing, and then it sold. So I'm not sure if this is a good brand or not. But I was very happy to move it, and it sold for $20. So if you know anything about the brand Solomon, please comment down below and tell me what you think of the brand. Alright, at the thrift store, at the bins, I actually ran into a couple different Fossil bags. Fossil can do well for me. This was one of them I picked up. This did not take long to sell. I was so thrilled with this. I was waiting for a new rotation to come around, and like I've mentioned in some of my outlet haul videos, I talk about how I go looking over on the goods side of the store. I found, you find purses over there. And I found this Fossil purse in one of the bins, and I double checked it to make sure it was in good condition. I double checked the inside label and all the pieces to it to make sure that it was a good brand, that it was actually Fossil. There is the Creed right there. And this was in good condition. It didn't have any pen stains. It was super cute. So I did all the measurements, and this sold 7 days after being listed. So yeah, if you find Fossil bags like that, I paid $1.30 for this at the bins. Alright, next item. Like I said, guys, we had a good month. Hang tight because we have a few to go still. This was a Callaway hat that I purchased at St. Vincent's. I do look up sold comps for my hats. This one I think I paid like a couple bucks for. They're not very expensive at St. Vincent's. So I picked that up, and that took 35 days to sell once it was listed. Alright, I am selling some more jewelry, which is pretty cool. This was beautiful. This was from back when I was doing videos about selling jewelry, the stuff that I didn't sell through my videos. I did list, and this was one of those pieces. I got an offer of $12 on this on Poshmark, and yes, I took it. My cost of goods on that, guys, was like 25 cents. Alright, and once it relisted on Poshmark, it took $119. I've had this for a couple years, guys. It took a while to sell. Alright, let's keep going. This was another piece that I picked up at the bins a few months ago. I was looking at kids' pieces, and this one was definitely screaming like holiday. It could do very well for Easter. I paid $1.26 for this, and actually had quite a bit of interest from a few moms. And it sold for 20 bucks. So $1.26 into $20. Yes, this was Mini World Girls Dress. So definitely a brand to look out for. It does very well. Alright, next is Gymshark. Guys, I have not picked up Gymshark in a very long time. And I ran into Gymshark at St. Vincent's, and I thought, for $4.50, I'm going to pick it up and see what it does. This did not take long to sell. I am going to be particular with Gymshark if I pick it up again. This was a size large. It's another reason why I picked it up. If it was a medium or a small, I probably would not have grabbed it for $4.50. I think it's like $4.75 or $5.75 or something like that. Oh, you know what? It's showing here that this was a bins piece. I thought I picked that up at the thrift store. I don't know. Sometimes I'll put a, anyway, Gymshark, I thought I picked this up at the thrift store, so I probably paid $4 for it. Anywho, let's go back. This took 3 days to sell after it was listed. That's insane. So I will definitely be keeping an eye out for Gymshark. I would definitely recommend bigger sizes, so I would not do smaller sizes. And have it definitely be a good quality piece, like the sweatshirt or something else like that. I would never do like a tank top or a sports bra or something like that. They just don't do well. Alright, let's keep moving along. Next is... Okay, this was a vintage piece that I picked up. It's kind of hard to see the photo. I'll have to look. Let me see here. Okay, this was a bins piece. Yes, this was a bins piece. It was kind of like a key lime colorway, and it was a vintage sweater. I don't know if it had, this did not have a brand on it, guys. But I did do measurements, and it sold 52 days after being listed. So this sold in about a month and a half of being listed. And it's a vintage sweater with no brand. Guys, vintage definitely does sell. Now again, I'm mindful with the sizing. This was an extra large. I do not pick up small pieces unless it has a good factors to it. This would not have had enough factors to it for it being a small, but because it was an extra large and had gold buttons, anyway, you guys get the point. I don't want to beat a horse. All right, this was another Talbot's piece, guys. This was another thrift store, another bins piece recently. I paid $1.30 for this. I'm trying to remember this design, and it just completely escapes me right now. There's a certain style to this, and I can't remember. If you guys remember the styling of this kind of print on sweaters, please remind me. I don't remember. If you tell me in the comments below. Anyway, this was the newer tag. It was the plus size. It was double X, and this sold for 20 bucks. Paid $1.30 for it. So definitely gonna keep my eye out on pieces like that for sure. All right, life is good. This was another piece that I picked up at the bins. I decided to take a chance on it because I've been hearing that life is good is one of those items that can do well. This was like a basic knit t-shirt, but it kind of like had that sports look to it with the bands on the sleeves, that detail. It was just super cute, and I thought I'll take a chance on it for $1.30, and it did sell for $15. Guys, $1.30 to $15, I'll take all day long. Not all items are going to sell for big profit. And I know some people, if they don't have room or they're trying to keep their business smaller, my husband and I are actually expanding our business. So if I can sell something for like $10, $15 and it's $1.30, pieces like that, guys, those kinds of sales add up quickly. So if you have a business model where that works for you, 100% go for it. All right, this came from one of my jewelry boxes when I was doing the old jewelry again. This is just a classic, what am I trying to think of? Costume jewelry piece. It was so pretty. And somebody accepted my offer of $14 on it. So, and my cost of goods was like 50 cents on that. So, beautiful piece. I'm surprised because I've been selling more jewelry lately. So, that kind of surprises me, but I was happy with that. Alright, this was another men's piece that I sold that I've had for a while. This was another item that was in my inventory, and we did new photos on it, did a new listing on it. And Tommy Hilfiger just doesn't really sell, but now it's starting to sell for me again. Size large, premium cotton. And this one sold for $18. So $3 into $18. Very, very good. Alright, I'm going to try and pick up the pace a little bit here so I don't have you guys too long. 7 for All Mankind. These were picked up at... Okay, I must have picked these up at the thrift store. Sorry if you can hear myself. Oh, wow, these pictures are not very good. That one was really blurry. Okay, so 7 for All Mankind. I apologize. I did not realize that was that blurry. Otherwise, I would have retaken that. Anywho, these sold for $49. And they were listed for 99 days. So just, over 3 months, and those sold. Okay, and those are probably purchased at St. Vincent's for $5.50. Okay, let's keep moving along. We're getting there. Next is another piece that I picked up at the regular store. This is a Nike Golf Climber Prima pullover windbreaker jacket. I paid $5 for this at the thrift store. This one I think I picked up at New too. Again, taking chance on more Nike, and it's paying off. Because I have not been doing a lot of Nike the last couple of years. I decided to start doing more Nike, and it is paying off. And this one sold for $25. So very good. And it was listed for just about a month and a half, almost a month and a half. So yeah, I'm definitely going to be keeping my eye out on Nike for sure. I just listed another Nike. They were sweatpants with a huge Nike hit on the leg. I'm curious to see how those are going to do. This was a hard goods that my husband and I picked up at a garage sale over 2 years ago. We just recently put it back up on listing. I think we paid a couple bucks for this, and it sold for $21. Guys, these vintage teapots do very, very well. So if you run into them out in the wild at garage sales, these do very, very well. Run comps on it if you find one, but they can definitely do well if you don't mind doing a few hard goods. They don't take up a lot of space. Alright, moving on to the next item. Madewell. I do not pick up a lot of Madewell. I was so glad to see this sell. I picked this up, I don't remember where, but I picked this up somewhere a couple years ago. And I took a chance on it. It was a size medium. Probably one of the reasons why I did take a chance on it is because it had the Sherpa inside of it. And it was a super cute. It was only a size medium. If this was a bigger size, this may have sold quicker. But this was another item that I've had for probably a year or two, and I just recently redid the listing, and it finally sold. So made $17 on it, so I was very, very happy. Once it was relisted, it took 15 days to sell. All right, J. Crew. From the J. Crew box that I purchased probably over a year ago now. No, actually, this was a men's piece, not from my box. This was a men's piece. I've had this for a while too. Probably from one of my thread up men's boxes. And it finally sold. Another item that I recently redid in my listing. That was a size large, so I'm kind of surprised that took a while to sell, but I'm glad it sold, and the sale price on that was $13.96. Okay, we're going to keep moving along, you guys. All right, another piece of jewelry, fashion jewelry that I sold was that you guys might recognize this from one of my jewelry videos that I did back when I was doing jewelry videos. This sold for 10 bucks on Poshmark. So, yeah. Again, my cost on that was like 50 cents. Alright, and that one sold for $10. That one did take a while to sell. It took a long time to sell. Okay. Next. Okay, this was another bins find, guys. I'm taking some chances on some vintage dresses at the bins. I paid $1.30 for this. This was R&K. I don't think this sold based on the brand. I thought it was sold based on style. This was rayon, and it was a size 16. Even though it was petite, it was a size 16. And it was so adorable. Had the little belt on the back, fit and flare. Polka dot is really popular right now. So I took a chance on this, and it did very well. I'm so excited about it. So I'm definitely going to be keeping an eye on vintage dresses at the thrift store. Sorry, at the bins. This sold for $28. So very, very good profit on that piece. All right, next is Untuck It. I finally sold an Untuck It shirt. I was so excited. And this one was kind of one of those shirts that I didn't think would sell. I think I picked this up at a garage sale for like $5 last year, and it took this long to sell. So Untuck It is one of those really popular brands. This was even a 2X. But I think more and more people are realizing Untuck It, and so it's probably becoming a little bit more saturated than it used to be, but it's still sold for $33, so I can't complain about that. 5 into 33 is great. All right, next item. This was a dress that I purchased from the company that I buy my jewelry, my brand new jewelry from, and I actually wore this a few times, but I decided not to keep it, so I listed it. And it did sell. It took a while to sell, but now that we're going to spring and summer, I think is why it sold. It was all smocked up here, tiered, super cute. I just didn't like the way it looked on me. So I turned around and flipped it for $20. So yay. Next we have, oh my gosh, quince. I did a video recently about how I could not believe that I found quince in the thrift store. And I sold it. I was super excited. Okay, why is it not showing up? What's going on here? It's not showing up. What's going on here? It was a navy blue organic cotton crew neck sweater. Am I just missing it? Right there. This was so pretty. Yep, you guys probably recognize this from a recent haul I did. Quince, it was a size small, but even though it was a size small, it was cotton, and it was beautiful, and I took a chance on it for, I think, $5 or so at the thrift store, and it sold pretty quickly. This sold 4 days after being listed. So I was super happy. And I think I sold another quince here recently too on Poshmark. Alright, this one is an old men's piece from Thread a Box. So glad that these sold. Had these probably going on 2.5, 3 years. Sold them for 10 bucks, got my money back. Do not buy this brand. It just does not do well. Vintage 1946, even though it was new with tags. Again, it came in a men's box from Helpsy Source a couple years ago. Just so glad to move those along. I'm already selling shorts, guys, which is really cool. All right, next up. Guys, if you need me to do like a shorter sold video next time, let me know. Maybe I'll just pick out some of the smaller items and some of the bigger items. Let me know in the comments below if you like the longer sold videos, if they're too long, if you prefer, like I do them every 2 weeks, if I can try and do that, or just picking out a few pieces and telling you how things went. Alright, I've had this thing forever too. It finally sold for $19.95. I'm not going to go into it. It came from a Helpsy men's box. Had it forever. Very glad it sold. I redid the listing, and it sold 27 days after I redid the listing. Alright, let's move along. This was a piece I took a chance on again. I picked this up at the bins for $1.30. And you know, it's so funny because I did more research after I listed this, and I found out that these were actually being sold on different platforms for like 130 bucks or more. I had already listed mine at its price and was already getting likes on it, so I wasn't going to go through and change the price like 100 bucks more than what I had it listed for. That's just not cool. I got a few likes on this. I got a few lowball offers on this, and then I finally just sold it for $34.95. Paid $1.30 for it, but it's an old rugby Steinleger blood, however you say that. But if you run into this, definitely pick it up. It's a good seller. The comps on these were great, and this one did not take long to sell. 8 days after being listed. No? That must have been relisted because I had it longer than 8 days. But anyway, the $1.30 into 34 into what did I sell it for? $34.95. So yeah, really good piece. All right. Next, this was another bins pickup. I picked this up at the bins one of the first couple times I was there. I took a chance on it. It is vintage Pooh Bear. Super cute overalls, a size 26. This had a lot of attention. I did get some lowball offers. Some lowball, sorry, not lowball offers. I got some attention on this, and I was hoping to get more than $20 for that, but because it was only $1.30 at the bins, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna take it and run with it and get my money back. So I went ahead and took the offer for 20 bucks, and yeah, so we're gonna go ahead and move on. Under Armour. What was this one? Okay, this was a bins pickup. I took a chance on this one because it was long sleeved. I remember this. Took a chance on this Under Armour men's long sleeved. It was a golf athletic on it, and it did sell for $14. Again, I would prefer Nike. I may do Under Armour again if it has some good things to it, because it did sell for $14, so $1.30 into $14, and it's showing that probably had this for just a couple months. Did not take long to sell. Okay, we're gonna keep moving along because we still have a few pieces here. Okay, guys, this came in that other box I was telling you about that I bought from that gentleman. This thing was so darn cute. Oh my gosh, so cute. Paid $6 cost on that box. So cute. I could not believe how cute that was. And this sold for $27. So, very happy with that. 28 days for that to sell once it was listed. All right. Let me see. We have a few more. Okay, some more men's shorts that I sold. Again, I've had these for a long time. These were just recently relisted. Original Penguin plaid shorts. And I paid $3 for those. Those sold for $12. And then, okay, this was another piece that I picked up at the bins that I took a chance on, and I was so glad I did. This looks like it's embroidered, but it's not. It's an embroidery print. And I specified that in the title. This did not have a brand on it, guys. But I picked it up anyway and took a chance for $1.30. No brand on it. So cute. I took measurements. And I noted that it was an embroidery print, not embroidered, embroidered print. Make sure if it's not actually embroidered, but it's a print, that you put print, so they don't get it and think you said embroidered, but it's an embroidered print. But this was so darn cute. So I took a chance on it, even though it didn't have a brand, and it paid off. This sold for $31. And it sold after being listed for 23 days. So very, very happy with that. Good sales on that. Okay. This was something that I've had for a long time. I thought I would sell, I thought I would make more on this. I don't remember where I picked it up. I think it was a regular thrift store. And I thought I would get at least 30 for this. But I've had it for a while. This was all embroidered. It was such a gorgeous dress. Had this extra underneath it. It was just so beautiful. But you know what? I just wanted to get it moved, to get my money back and move on. So I took the $18 and got it moving along. All right. I sold another hat. Just a pretty basic camouflage hat. I've sold a few hats. This was Budweiser, so I took a chance on it because it was beer, and it sold for $17. Guys, hats do sell. I've been picking up hats at the thrift store, and I'm selling them. But do run comps on them. And only pick them up if you can get them for like at the thrift store for like a couple bucks or at the bins, right? I wouldn't pay too much more for them than that. I wouldn't pay $5 for them. I just wouldn't. Okay. Next was a... This is one that I've had for a long time too, from Lululemon. I don't know why this took so long to sell. This is a women's jacket, and black is so hard to photograph. There's a little bit better picture of it. It was kind of like a black bomber's jacket, but anyway, it sold for $26 finally on Depop, and I've had that for a while. It says 28 days, but I've had that for a while. It was relisted. Okay, let me see. We have one more listing, guys, for January. This was a kid's piece that I picked up at the bins. It was a London Fog Youth Snow Bibs for a couple bucks, $1.30, and it did sell on Poshmark for $15. All right, you guys, that is all of the sales I actually got through with my dog still sitting on my lap and quiet. I can't believe I made it. All right, guys, I'm going to switch back over to regular video. We are going to finish this out. Okay, guys, thank you so much for watching. I really, really appreciate it. I know that was a little bit of a longer video. Some of you have told me that you really like the longer videos, and I know some people don't like the longer videos. So if you're still here and you don't like them, I really appreciate you sticking around to see how January went for us. Now, I'm going to have to be honest, this is the first good January we've had in a couple years, so we're very excited about where things are going. And so far, February's been a good month too, so I'm excited to do the sold video for that as well. Anyway, again, thank you so much for watching. Do feel free to comment down below your favorite piece, what piece surprised you, how your solds are doing. Give me all the good stuff and share with me how things are going for you guys. In the meantime, as always, guys, be productive, and we will see you in the next video.